Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Sorry for all the hoopla, but we're back. It's me and Melissa. We're talking Colorado TCU, and you kind of teased a little what to know about what TCU is like sort of struggling with. And the part that really stands out to me is the run or the lack of running ability, because I do feel like TCU's had some good running backs over the past few years, and they've had at least some good players. I don't know if it's always matriculated into what they were hoping, but Colorado is like really bad at stopping the run this year. And so I feel like we're going to meet like an immovable object and whatever that other part of the saying is, because it's like team that can't run versus team that can't stop the run. What happens? So talk to me a little bit more about TCU's strengths and flaws, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'd referred to them earlier this week as the movable force versus the impossible object is how this run defense versus this run offense is going to look. It's so funny to hear you shout out Marion Miller. Savion Williams kind of did the same thing for the Horned Frogs a year ago. He's now doing the same thing for the Green Bay Packers, which is pretty cool. But six games into the season, TCU could not run the ball last year until they inserted Savion Williams in that Wildcat role and really changed the entire course of the year. They brought it out at Utah. Utah was quite possibly the worst Power 4 offense in the country a season ago. But going and winning in Salt Lake City is a really, really hard thing to do. They busted that out. They went on a streak where they won 5 of their next 6 games and then won a bowl game to get to 9 wins. And Williams gets a lot of credit for that. So their big response was, when you lose an NFL caliber player, is go get a guy at UTSA who was really, really good as a freshman and then fell apart the next 2 seasons. And Kavorian Barnes was dinged up. He was injured. But most TCU fans kind of went, this felt like a patch and not a solution, and in a way where TCU wasn't willing to spend in the portal to bring one of those high-end backs or just didn't get the guys that they wanted. Then Barnes comes out against UNC, and again, we know now UNC is terrible, awful, putrid, but looks like he can be a lead back. He's big, he's strong, he's faster than we think. He had a 75-yard touchdown run to start the second half in Chapel Hill. And so we're like, oh, maybe this guy's good. And he tweaks a hammy in the second half against ACU. And so now TCU's relying on 2 second-year players and a true freshman and just trying to make it work. They don't really have a receiver that can step into that Wildcat role. Josh Hoover is not a running quarterback. We saw him use his legs quite a bit against SMU, which was beautifully refreshing, and then completely go away from it at Arizona State, which may have had something to do with the weather and the field conditions and all that, sure. But so I think it's for 2 years it's been the same story. Can this offensive line run block? And the problem is the running backs aren't very good. Or is the offensive line so bad at run blocking that it doesn't even matter who you have behind them? I think if Barnes comes back and it appears that he's going to go, we'll see. But right now, I think he went through most of a practice today as we're recording this on Wednesday. If he can go, the thing he does is he gets downhill. He hits the hole. He's going to get you positive yardage. He's going to fall forward. Payne and Palmer, which I mentioned earlier, and then the other guys, Trent Battle, are not big physical guys. They are not going to get, one cut and go kind of guys. They're speed, shifty, twitchy guys that are going to try to get to the outside, which I think really plays into Colorado's hands, because the one thing we know that defense has is good team speed. So Barnes playing is really going to be the difference for this running game. Josh Hoover can drop back and throw the ball 55 times, and they're probably going to have a lot of completions and put up a lot of points. But if the Frogs can't run the football and keep opposing defenses off the field and keep pressure on that defensive line so they can't just pin their ears back and go, it's going to be a really, really long day again for TCU and that TCU offense.
Yeah, I think Colorado's probably like, thank God this guy can't run, Josh Hoover. I mean, he can run, but compared to...
He doesn't run.
Yeah, Bear Bachmeyer, who torched him for almost 100 yards. Haynes King ran for like 150 yards on them.
Haynes King is built different, though. That guy, he's ridiculous. I love
Connor Wigman ran all over them. I said before that game, and I look so foolish now. I was like, make this a Connor Wigman game. Like he make this game about him. Like, don't let them run the ball. And I was like, okay, Connor Wigman, I apologize. Right?
Yeah.
You can't.
And
good
for them. Houston is not embarrassing, and I'm really excited about that. That's good for the league. I don't want to play him this year, but I love that Connor Wigman is getting his redemption story. I just don't want it to be against either of us, right?
Yeah. He played a lot better than I thought he would. But Colorado was like in this weird state because I feel like I don't know what they're good at. And I'm not saying that because I'm not like paying attention. It's just like every week this team looks different, where it's like, oh, this week we can't do this. Or this week is like, this is a problem. So like if you would have asked me before the season, am I confident about Colorado's corners going up against Josh Hoover and the wide receivers at TCU? I'd be like, probably, right? You have DJ McKinney, who was the wingman to Travis Hunter last year and was kind of overshadowed because it was like, oh, Travis Hunter's over there shutting down the whole side of the field.
Yeah.
And DJ
Winning
McKinney,
a Heisman, like somebody.
yeah, winning a Heisman, whatever.
Who's this guy?
How dare he? But DJ McKinney was really good in his own right, and he was getting some first round, second round buzz. And you look at the PFF grades, which, as Melissa said earlier, take with a grain of salt. But Colorado's, I think their top corner is RJ Johnson, and he's been injured. And I think his grade was a 60. I think it was a 69. The rest of them were mid 60s to the 50s. Like this group is not where they thought it would be, and they can't stop the run. They can't really go toe to toe with good receivers. And so I think this defense is kind of in a weird spot right now where it's like they need to pick something to take away from TCU and just really, like, if I was Colorado, I would drop 8 and be like, you know what, TCU, run the ball. Do your thing. Try to run the ball and just hope that someone up front can stop the run, because I mean they can't, or they haven't, but you have to pick and choose with this Colorado defense and just sort of, I guess, decide what you're going to give up.
I'll tell you this much. If Colorado's response is to drop 8, TCU's still going to throw the ball and they're going to have success.
Probably.
Like,
but you got to pick one, though.
Yeah, but you got to pick one, right? But to me, I don't care about letting them run the ball. Make them prove they can run for 150, 160 yards, because they've only done it once, and it was against UNC, which is awful. But what'll be really fascinating is if Eric McAllister does not play, and he was a basically game time scratch on Friday night and has not really practiced, and I do not anticipate him being available for this game. TCU had a lot of success with G.J. Rogers, the tight end, who's been really good this season, with Joseph Manjack, who, like, everybody that sees him for the first time goes, who is this guy? Because he's playing with ankle socks. He's got no gloves. There's no sleeves. I'm shocked
like
he has
AI generated person,
yeah,
honestly.
He is like just this is like, you just want to say lunch pail kid. Like, you see him and you go, oh, hard hat to work, lunch pail guy. Like, he is the epitome of gritty wide receiver. He's not the fastest guy in the field, but he's going to run good routes, and he's always where he's supposed to be.
For those of you not putting the picture together, he looks a lot like me, if you will, right? Like, Joseph Manjack and me look very similar.
Yeah, he is just a stocky looking white guy, and we love him for that so much. He also shaved the words TCU into his chest hair for the 4th of July. So again, could not love him more. He is outstanding. But he's really good, and he's really good at the quick game. And TCU just forgot that was in their playbook in the second half. You know, we saw Jordan Dwyer, who was awesome against UNC, and when they bracketed and they double and triple teamed Derek McAllister, you know, Dwyer went off. He was a guy who was known. He came from Idaho, as one of the best wide receivers in the portal, and a guy we expected a lot out of, and just had a really bad night against Arizona State. 4 drops that he was credited with, might have been more, and one of them, a ball that hit him in the hands and the chest and turned into an interception. Like, those kind of things just can't happen if you want to win games, especially on the road. So, but he's really good in the middle of the field and in the quick game. Dozie Ezekamba, who's the one who took McAllister's place, like, he definitely is flashy. He's got some ability and some talent. And so the talent's there. It's not as good as the room that has 2 guys in the NFL and a third on a practice squad, but there isn't that much of a drop-off when those guys are locked in and when the play calling is allowing Josh to have time to make his reads and scan the field. And so I think there'll be opportunities for Hoover to have a big game against Colorado. I mean, just by all metrics, he should. But these receivers have to be better. They have to step up, and the offensive line has to give him time to get past his first read, and that did not happen in the 3rd and 4th quarter Friday night in Tempe.
Yeah, I think this game will really show how committed Robert Livingston is, Colorado's defensive coordinator, to man coverage. Like, this will be the game where it's like, okay,
please play man.
I was like, this is
play man.
He will. They love them some man coverage, and like last year, you had Travis Hunter, so it was fine, and like, everyone did their job, but now it's like you don't have that guy. And so we're going to see how committed they are to doing it, right? Yeah. They did it against BYU, and Chase Roberts kind of did a lot of, he had some big plays. Parker Kingston had some big plays. Like, I don't know why you want to stick to it, but I think when you have so many flaws, it's like, okay, what are we the least bad at? And we're just going to sort of stick with that. And so we're going to find out how committed they are to that. When it comes to Colorado's receivers, before we move on, I do think Colorado has a good set of receivers. The problem is they're not getting the ball, right? Caden Salter, I don't know what happened to him. And I watched him a lot at Liberty, and it could have just been different. There could just be like a difference between group of 5 ball and power 4 ball. And I hate to be that guy, but he just doesn't seem confident or ever really have a plan. There was a play against BYU specifically where he had 2 wide receivers open right in front of him, and the camera like has him like locking eyes with one of them, and instead he just runs backwards for a 22-yard sack. And it's like, okay, why? And like the camera pans to Coach Prime, and he's wide open. He is wide open. Like I think Caden Salter is a little rattled. I think he's quickly learning that this move where he sort of just runs backwards for 15 yards and then outruns people towards the sideline isn't working anymore, right? All these guys are athletic, right? And I think at Liberty, he was sort of exposing where he was just good enough to be better than everyone else. But at the same time at Colorado, he's good, but everyone's athletic. So it's sort of a tough thing to hang your hat on. So we will find out what Colorado is hanging their hat on. I feel like it's a moth-bitten hat at this point where it's just like has a huge hole in it, but we'll find out. We're going to take one final break, and we're going to talk about what each team needs to do in order to come away victorious on Saturday. This episode is also brought to you by our sponsors over at Peloton, your pandemic favorite, apparently. Peloton is shaping
Peloton user.
Yeah. Okay. We love it.
The bike and the tread.
Love it.
Okay. Your ad read.
Perfect. You may as well do the ad read. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with a brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus. Melissa, powered by Peloton IQ, it's their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. They have a swivel screen that's a game changer. You could go from running on the treadmill, or the Tread Plus, to strength training without missing a beat. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today on onepeloton.com.
Team Jess Sims.